They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
You had a response to Ryan?
Yo, what is cracking, dude? I am fucking sweating my ass off. Oh god, I just went outside and oh. Well, what?
Everybody knows.
If you want to wait after that.
Alright, what do we watch? God, he keeps recommending me London shit now. It pisses me off. What? They have combo
Roanoke team sheet a bit with Absol Vesper.
Oh my god, people are too nerdy. It's, dude, it is fucking hot. What do we watch? Let's see if we can find something good. I've seen this one. This is sad. Man, I've seen fucking everything on YouTube. Eating at a Pokemon cafe. Oh, that looks so good. That's like Gengar's movie. gotta get Gengar's future. Yes, yes. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, basically. Imagine taking someone on a date. Oh, there's the Gengar drink. Nice. Sick. I'm a small man. Oh, look, the carrots are Oh no, what's going on now? Oh no, dude, what? Oh my god, dude! This is so fucking... Bro, I need to fucking head to Japan, dude. I should get Barangus to come with me to Japan. Probably he won't do anything. He just wants to. Dude, look, she's like, bro, what are we doing? We're grown-ups, and we're clapping, we're fucking singing, if you're happy, you know, we clap your hands. She's like, dude, this is retarded, dude. This is so nutty. Look, she's like, looking at his boyfriend, like, please acknowledge that this is retarded. And he's like, I'm having so much fun, dude, look. Look, she's just, look at her, dude. Look, she can't help herself. Just look at her face. It's like, dude, come on, dude. And I just start singing, look. She's like, dude. She can't, she's like, bro, what the fuck is this? My god, dude. You finally get to eat now? When do we get to fucking eat, dude? It's time to eat. It's finally time. God damn. I don't know his face. Italian burger. That's cool. That's really cool. Broccoli, dude. Gotta eat your broccoli. Potato. Nah, it just showed up. It just showed up in my video. Too many Pokemon themes? What the fuck? It's making me hard for me to choose stuff.
Choose favorite Pikachu one time. Congratulations, Mega Lizard X. Here you are.
ありがとう。
What do you want no stickers? Oh my balls. No, no, oh, Pikachu's hat. Oh man, am I baked right now? Oh my god, this place is leaking. Alright, this was a cool channel. Soy sauce stories already subscribed. Okay. Oh, good God, I'm stoned. Oh, Lord, dude. Oh, ooh, baby. I am fucking sweating, dude. That is so.
这是年会的，会员卡没有期限，那边都3周来收费。对，那我们这就是1公司。
Jesus Christ, dude, I'm melting. So what is this, the internet hotel? He's just gonna stay in here, huh? So what do they do? You just hang on with the PC? Why can't they just do this at home? Why can't they just do this at home? I don't get it. Bro, I don't get it. Yeah, but why though? Why can't we just do this at home? Why is this a thing? Bro, this is so nerd. Like, why? What do you need this? What do you need all this shit? What do you do in here? Why can't you just do this shit at home? It's so weird, dude. It's so weird. I don't understand. You can just go and drink all day for that cost. What? Or is it just for the meal? Wait a this? Just for 2 hours to read on what to do. Bro, this is so weird. Is this because they don't have... Why can't they just do this shit at home? Whoa. Whoa, people fucking love... I guess they just want to get the fuck out of their home and just do that. You know, I'll probably do it, dude, if I didn't have a PC at home or whatever. I'll probably fucking, you know, do all this shit, you know?
Hungry?
No. The storm is getting worse.
I hope Fenrir got some sleep. Maybe he'll be ready to eat when we get home.
Fucking...
Are you joining me?
Look at the keyboard, dude. That keyboard is fucking huge. Bro, look at that keyboard. Dude, he didn't play at all. It's not even logged into Steam, dude. This guy's a loser. He's like, oh, yeah, hush browns. Man, that looks mad shitty, dude. Bro, it's hash browns. Fucking deep fried hash browns. Bro, this is like frozen food is like, dude. You're gonna go in your little thing. Read Bleach. Yeah, he's just gonna now read Bleach. What the fuck is this, dude? It's the Chinese version. It's gonna now. What the fuck, dude? Time to eat again. What are you doing here now? Mr. Beast is gonna rest. This is bizarre, dude. Why the fuck would you hang out in there, dude? That's so weird. That is just so weird.
Today, I'm taking this ultra-luxury Ritz-Carlton cruise for the next 7 days. I'll show you exactly what it's like to live on board one of the world's most exclusive ships. From the best first-class suites, to the fine dining in the multiple restaurants, and the opulent facilities. Will it be smooth sailing though? As when I tried their previous yacht, there were a multitude of issues. Something you don't associate with the near $30,000 price tag. With that, let's pick up our story in Istanbul.
That's like
Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. Let's head
God, this guy is such a posh guy, dude. I hate him. I hate this guy. Oh no, his
First
dumb-
up, let's drop our luggage. This is dealt with efficiently by a friendly member of staff, and we're invited to pass through security. And finally check in at the priority desk. Here we have to verify our passports, complete a health checklist, and place a credit card on file. Our cruise pass is promptly presented to us, and we're led over to our ship. It's at this point I should probably explain, what exactly is the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection? Well, it's an ultra-luxury cruise line launched in 2022 with a promise to combine the hotel brand Ritz-Carlton with a yachting vacation. Say this appearing 2 new, larger ships have entered the fleet. Luminara, and what we're trying today, Ilma. Shall we see if things have changed? This has got to be one of the coolest looking ships I've ever seen, standing at 791 foot in length. She might not be the largest, but that's not this ship's USP. With a near 1-to-1 passenger to crew ratio, offers the highest space per guest in the cruise industry. We're warmly welcomed on board, and after a quick scan of our cruise card, we step into the ship's lobby. Here you'll find guest services, along with a concierge. To get to our suite, we'll need to head up to deck 6. Let's take one of the ship's 6 passenger elevators and go explore our new home. Deck 6 plays host to 65 staterooms, and I've booked us into 658 on the port side of the vessel. The corridors again feel very hotel-like and far from the usual cruise ship ambience.
Oh yeah. I think it's so hard.
Welcome aboard the Ritz-Carlton yacht Ilma.
Yes, and
God,
welcome back to the channel,
woman
Millie.
speaks
I'm
now.
back.
You are indeed. And last welcome, I promise, to our incredible new home, this suite.
Isn't it lovely? Should we take a look around?
I think we should. This
Oh
is
God,
the
I hate
signature
very
suite,
people with a
coming in at a total of 560 square foot in size. First
How
up,
much
the
is that
living
in
room
real?
with a
In
firm yet
real?
comfy sofa, ideal for watching movies on the 55-inch television. There's a tablet and telephone, which can be used to communicate with your butler. Adjacent to this is a cupboard containing tea and coffee making facilities, some snacks, and a well-stocked minibar, all included as well.
Well, it better fucking be.
There's also a small dining table, ideal for in-suite dining, and currently playing host to a welcome bottle of Moet, which I'm told can be replenished whenever I want. Moving onwards to the bedroom, boasting a king-size bed with more pillows than I can ever need.
Yeah,
I
what the
suppose it's
fuck?
great to have options.
What do you
By
mean?
your bed you have lighting controls, along with a power outlet and USB-C and A ports. I really appreciate how you can totally close the bedroom off, negating the necessity of closing the curtains. While there's no walk-in wardrobe, these built-in ones provide ample space for our clothes. Oh, and they have these wonderful robes for your use on board. There is also a separate dressing table out in the corridor of our suite, and this hosts a Dyson hairdryer, the gold standard at this price point. Okay, so what about the bathroom? It's absolutely stunning, adorned in Italian marble, with double sinks, a bathtub, and pricey diptyque amenities. Behind these 2 doors you'll find the toilet cubicle, and a spacious rainfall shower.
They're pretty good for a boat.
Life jackets for you are stored at the assembly stations.
Oh my God.
To wear your life jacket, first unpack it.
As we sail out into the Marmara Sea, where exactly are we going? Well, our voyage is going to take us across the Aegean Sea, via Mykonos, all the way to Athens, Greece. Well, it's probably time we start thinking about dinner. Now, dinner on board, there's a plethora of options to choose from, but I've got somewhere particularly special booked for us tonight.
Oh, yeah?
And for that, I
Your
need something
mom's
a little
asshole.
smarter. I feel this should suffice. So let's do just that.
Shut up. You're such a faggot, dude. You're such a fucking faggot.
As usual, Millie is star of the show, looking stunning this evening.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's settle down for a pre-dinner aperitif, which has been served in our room. I of course have the provided Moet, but Millie is going instead for a Hendrick's and tonic. Our butler has presented us with some caviar, which as you know is a personal favourite. It's impressive all of this is included, as any other cruise line would most certainly levy a significant upcharge.
You paid $300,000 and you're saying it's surprising? It's $30,000 for 30. You fucking lost your mind, dude. You find that impressive? $30,000. Holy shit, dude. That's a year's
Dinner is located
salary,
on deck
dude.
3, so let's grab an elevator
fucking
down.
lost
A benefit of having just over 400 passengers on board is the
there's
ship
a
feels
huge
quiet,
mouth on
with
my
next to
TV
no
screen.
wait
Holy
for the
shit,
lift.
it's massive.
So this evening's venue is called Seta Su Ilma, and is the only paid for restaurant on board. The 10-course meal is a mind-blowing $700 for the two of us, but thanks to booking via a specialised Marriott travel advisor, my friend Jarvis, this is included as part of our package, at no additional cost.
Wow, good for you, dude.
I'm most intrigued to see what this 10-course extravaganza will consist of. Shall we take a look at the menu? To begin, I'm served a glass of the Comte de Monte Carlo champagne. For our appetisers, we start with a caviar, toasted brioche with Red King crab, and a gazpacho with olive oil gelato. Next up, the bread course, Italian sourdough served with Tuscan extra virgin olive oil, and cultured farm and seaweed butter. Now for our second tranche of courses. First up, langoustine carpaccio with a peach and basil emulsion.
You don't get a lot of food on the plate, do you?
The
You get,
caviar
like,
is
2
back
mouthfuls.
out again as a garnish to the sea bass with a Mediterranean herb sauce.
See, you don't even get a whole. You get
Following
so
on, we're served lobster ravioli with a
Okay, that
ginger
looks like a
emulsion.
decent finally, like something you can actually.
Steak knives have been placed on our table, suggesting indeed that the Wagyu beef ribeye is on its way.
Yeah, look, you get one mouthful. One mouthful.
Complemented by a 50-year-old balsamic, retailing at nearly $500 a bottle.
Who gives a shit? It's balsamic.
To close proceedings, we indulge in the dark chocolate with gelato,
See, you get more chocolate.
concluding our
than-
2-hour
than-
dining experience.
Lovely. Now let's go and have sex. Millie, I want to bang
Back
your
at our
ass.
suite, what did Millie think of our dinner?
It was a lot of courses, far more than I'm used to, but
He's like, yeah, she's like gonna be like, yeah, fuck me in the ass on this fucking boat. Yeah, fuck me in the ass, I'm a dirty slut.
it was all in all delicious.
Yeah, they're going to have to roll me off this if they continue with that over the next few days, I'll tell you.
Classic.
Absolutely. But with that, it's time to get to sleep.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it, let's have sex.
I'll just place our breakfast room service order outside our room, before joining Millie in bed.
That's how they sleep, huh? Okay, sure, dude. Like, immediately cameras are like, yeah, come on, show me your pussy, you bitch. Dirty bitch. I paid
Good
30
morning,
fucking
I
thousand.
slept wonderfully. This bed is phenomenal. Though you know what time it is. Of course it's time for a caffeine hit.
God, this guy's such a loser, dude. I hate him.
Let's give the in-suite Nespresso machine a
he's
whirl.
So annoying. He's so annoying. He's so gay.
I love the Illy Espresso capsules.
Oh,
I tend to
dude.
prefer these over the Nespresso ones.
Oh, why is that? Why did they feel more expensive? Because you're a fucking dumbass bitch.
Perfect timing too. We're scheduled to anchor this morning off the Greek island of Lemnos. This isn't a scheduled stop, and today was meant to be a sea day, but I guess they'll prioritise sailing by night in favour of anchoring in calmer waters. Shall we take a look at our balcony, which is quite unique to this deck? Basically, Deck 6 balconies are double the size, but for the same price point as others. So if you do sail in this category, this is the one to go for.
Yeah, that's a nice fucking deck. Look at those old people there.
It turns out our butler has just delivered our breakfast, so let's see what we've gone for. But first a glance at the menu, which we pre-ordered from last night.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
We've ordered the shakshuka, Greek yogurt parfait, pastry basket, fruit platter, avocado toast, and a rogue egg white omelette order for Millie. They may have got her order slightly wrong, but it's still very tasty.
And everything looks good except that stupid avocado toast. It's just fucking
It's time to take a proper look around our ship, from the water sports marina to the pool, and a look at the best suite on board. Whether I'm on a luxury super yacht or on the beach, being able to run my business on the move is
Shut the fuck up, you faggot. Nobody likes
with
you.
a life
Don't ever
in
talk
the
to me
in our
like
ship
that.
tour on deck 10,
Shut
where
up,
both
bitch.
the pool and sunset bar named Mistral are located. Like most of what we've seen so far on board, drinks here are included in your voyage, which is a welcome change.
Yeah, of course.
The highlight of course is the sweeping aft views, which you get from this vantage point. You can actually make out that the floating marina has been deployed, something we'll be investigating in just a moment. For now, let's go and see what else Deck 10 offers.
That's a neat little camera.
Midship you'll find the sun deck, which feels more like a beach club than a cruise ship. No water parks or crowds of people here. There's also another bar, should you require a cocktail or a refreshing soft drink. The pool is located up these steps, and it's among the most pristine, aesthetically pleasing pools I've
This seems like a nice place to just get drunk, dude. That's what
experienced to
this
see.
This just feels like a very nice place to get drunk. You just talk to the bartender like, hey buddy, yeah.
Moving onwards we get to the observation terrace to the front of the ship. I find this a bit of a wasted space if I'm honest, because whilst it's called an observation terrace, you can't actually see anything, thanks to this steel wall which totally blocks the forward view.
Well, shut the fuck
Now
up.
to head back inside, via Deck 9's stateroom corridor. I think it's time we take a look at the best room on board, introducing the owner's suite, which is close to 2,000 square foot in private space. But what's it actually like? Upon entry you're met with a joint lounge and dining area. The bedroom features the same king-size bed as our suite, and the bathroom is of a similar size.
Yeah.
The outside space, however, is in an entirely different league. The price for this stunning suite, that will be around $125,000 for the week. As I let that settle in, shall we head for lunch at the Beach House, down on Deck 5? Offering a mix of Central and South American cuisine, this is a venue I'm most intrigued to try, given the same space on their previous ship was most underwhelming. The highlight is the Beach House aft terrace, which also plays host to the ship's secondary pool.
Okay. Okay, whatever, dude.
Let's join Millie in the shade and check out the menu. Let's start proceedings with an ice cold DC, as our starters are served. Firstly, the Beach House fried chicken, and the trio of dips consisting of avocado, black beans, and cheese.
Cheese.
For main course, Millie has the Peruvian rotisserie chicken, and I have the soft shell crab sandwich. This meal has been phenomenal, and a stark contrast to the disappointing equivalent on board Evrima 2 years ago. I'm told things have improved across the board, which is a relief to hear. Now to explore more of the onboard facilities,
God, he's such a
starting with
faggot.
the boutiques.
The boutiques.
Located midship, you'll find a small collection of shops, from a Bulgari outlet to Ritz-Carlton merch to $20,000 Hermes handbags,
Yeah, why?
oh, and some Rolex watches. I'm gonna head over to the living room, whilst I leave Millie to browse, perhaps a dangerous thing to do. So the living room is the social hub of the yacht. There's a full service bar, comfortable furnishings, and a dance floor with live entertainment in the evenings. There's also a coffee shop here, and perhaps I've spent too long on board Royal Caribbean, but I don't see any prices next to these specialty coffees. It's just so refreshing to see. You can also grab a light bite here, or even a gelato.
Dude, this place
My
is
order
sick.
will be brought over in due course. It also appears Millie hasn't acquired a new Birkin in my absence. let's continue to explore and head down to the Ritz-Carlton Spa and Fitness Centre down on deck 4. The spa offers several treatment rooms, sauna, and even a salon. Price-wise, it's about in line with the industry, but they do seem to have reduced their prices from when I was on board Evrima. Moving onwards, we get to the fitness centre, available to use 24/7. There are also fitness studios, which offer chargeable classes daily. I think it's overdue, a trip to the water sports marina set up at the ship's aft. We're initially met with the Marina Terrace, which is the alfresco version of the living room and is the place to be when anchored. Aside from the comfy seating, I just love these balconies which extend out over the water,
Yeah, that's nice.
giving you such a cool perspective of our ship. Now onto the marina itself. This is where the ship really does live up to its super yacht pedigree. Before we head out to the floating pontoon, I'll need to visit the marina reception on deck 2. It's here I have to sign a waiver, so do bear with me a second.
What?
Right, life signed away. I can now enter and indeed participate in the various water sports on offer, such as paddleboarding and kayaking. Though I have a better idea, if I can maintain my balance. We're back on the move again. Where to, you ask? Around 200 miles south, down to the famous island of Mykonos. But we have important dinner preparations to attend to in the laundrette, down on deck 4. Given the abhorrent prices for pressing, I'm more than happy to fine-tune my ironing skills down here. And after a shower, we're ready for this evening's festivities. So, where are we dining this evening? Well, there are still a bunch more restaurants we're yet to indulge in, and these don't come with a $700 bill. Down on deck 3 you'll find Tides. This is about the closest you'll get to a main dining room, which you find on more traditional cruises, but it instead feels more like a specialty restaurant. Let's settle in and take a look at the menu. There's also an extensive wine list, which includes for the first time some upcharges, though given the calibre of some of these champagnes, I'm not going to scoff at this supplement. Remember, the inclusive house Moet is always available. We instead opt for a Hendrick's and tonic.
Fucking Hendrick's and tonic.
To begin, I have the Amberjack with tomato reduction and caviar. Meanwhile, Millie has the octopus, served with confit potatoes and smoked paprika. Now for the main course. Millie has the slow cooked chicken and poached langoustine, and I have today's special, a Greek kebab with tzatziki and pita bread.
Absolutely delicious.
You bet we're going for dessert. The selection looks solid, but what comes next is a highlight, the profiterole trolley. I actually regret not ordering this special. Instead, I got tempted by the Ritz-Carlton Yacht signature cake, which I can attest is fabulous. With our meal over, our evening is not quite over yet.
She's made out of gold. She says she likes it better when we go off-road. Yeah. I'm gonna make it worth your while.
Oh, that is so cheesy, dude. That was so cheesy. I hate that.
Mykonos. It's a beautiful morning, perfect to explore a new island. We're able to catch a tender ashore shortly, but first let's grab breakfast in a new restaurant.
Oh, this guy's such a faggot, dude. I can't stand his faggot.
Welcome to Mistral, an informal dining venue located on deck 10 to the ship's aft, serving Mediterranean cuisine for breakfast, lunch and dinner. My favourite part is being able to dine al fresco on the terrace.
Stop saying al
Shall
fresco.
we see what's
Just say outside. You're such a faggot, dude. If I say al fresco, it sounds more sophisticated.
on offer?
He's such a fucking faggot.
It's perhaps one of the most extensive breakfast menus I've ever seen, though we don't quite have the appetite this morning to do this justice. Otherwise, the steak and eggs would have been my preference. Instead I go for the avocado on toast, and Millie has the omelette, today with the egg yolks included. Anyway, I think it's time to hop on a tender to explore Mykonos. In order to do so, we'll need to head right down to deck 1. So Mykonos is actually quite a small island, at just over 40 square miles, but that doesn't stop it from being a world famous tourist favourite. Thanks to its beautiful beaches, iconic architecture, food, oh, and lots of shopping.
Yeah, boy, this seems like a tourist trap, huh?
Back on board, we've been invited for a special tour of the bridge.
Oh, my much.
This is quite a rare opportunity, as this is usually very much off limits to passengers. The team couldn't have been more welcoming, and Millie even got to sit in the captain's chair. As the sun begins to set, where exactly are we heading next? We'll travel northwest some 130 nautical miles, over to the Greek capital of Athens.
It's been a week
So what
already.
plans await us this evening on board?
It was done. What?
Well, let's head downstairs to the living room for some pre-dinner drinks and entertainment. I told you it does get busier here in the evenings, helped along of course by the free-flowing champagne. We don't however follow this trend, and instead peruse the cocktail list, only to revert to our old-time favourite, Hendrix and Tonic.
Fucking faggot.
Restaurant. Introducing Memory, the ship's contemporary Pan-Asian restaurant, specialising in Southeast Asian fusion and sushi. Right in here, having the open sushi bar. It also provides quite the entertainment, but I think it's fair to say we may have ordered too much. Let's speed run this. I'm gonna go for the grill. Time to head to bed. We'll discuss the total cost of this trip and my final thoughts in the morning.
Okay.
Come to a... The staff are phenomenal, the food was sublime, and despite not having a main theatre, we were kept entertained dancing and watching live music each evening. I guess the only point of contention is going to be the price, and indeed it is. This cost a mind-blowing $28,800 for our mid-level suite. Do let me know what you think.
Well, we have arrived in Athens.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all again next time.
Bye.
Fucking faggot, dude. I hope you... Oh my... He's so unbearable. He's so unbearable.
今やってるゲームなんですか？
今ハマってるのは
気づいたらやってますね。
女の子がやってる、結構やってます。
一番好きなゲームなんですか？
ゲームで言うと
We're watching this apparently.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Takashi. So today I'm going to interview Jap game.
エクストリーム VS シリーズのなんだろう3次元の格ゲーみたいな2対2でやるやつなんですけど、
ゲーセン行かれたりとかします？
仕事終わりとか寄ったりはする感じです。ガンダムをちょこちょこ見るんで、なんかその好きな機体を動かせる時の爽快感というか。
好きな機体は？好きなあれとかキャラとか好きな機体？
鉄血のオルフェンズのガンダムバルバトス・ルプス・レックスってやつ。このキャラはこう無双するわけじゃないですか、パイロットが。自分がこう無双した時にそれになりきった的な。
エイペックスレジェンズをやっています。
エイペックス僕もコロナの時毎日やってたっす。今もやってるんですか？結構
やってます。はい。コロナで始めました。はい。基本的にフレンドとやるので、やっぱり喋りながら。チャンピオン朝までです。もちろん。
ビートマニアっていうゲームをやってます。太鼓の達人みたいな音楽ゲームなんですけど、DJ シミュレーションゲームっていうくくりらしいんですけど、なんかこうバチバチバチバチこうドカドカドカドカやって、それでなんか人と対戦したりして、スコアの自己ベストみたいなのを超えた時に あこのゲームやってよかったなっていうのはなったりしますね。
なるほど。
第5人格というゲームです。第5人格はハンター1人サバイバー4人で1対4で戦うゲームなんですけど、サバイバーは4人で協力してハンターから逃げて脱出する。ハンターは4人とも狩るみたいな、お互い
懐かしいですね、妖怪ウォッチ。今もやってるんですか？
いやーなんか友達がやってて、スマホアプリで1200円かけて、
FPS なんですけど、割と動く止まったやつっていうより
それを思い出せるのがめっちゃ
Look at that hot Japanese chick. Plays the same
楽しい
game
で
as
す。
オーバーウォッチ
Oh, look at that. Had a cute Japanese girl. Overwatch 2.
2をよくやってます。FPS なんですけど、割と動く止まったやつっていうより動きながら打つゲームですから。はい。
人気ですか、それ日本で？
韓国とか中国とかの方が人気かもしれないですね。死んでも何回でも生き返れるっていうのがやっぱ暇じゃないので好きですね。
スターフォックスアサルトっていうゲームです。キツネが主人公のアクションゲームなんですけど、ちょっと結構懐かしめの平成レトロなんで、懐かしい気持ちでやってますね。
Yeah, see, that's like retro for him. It's like, dude, what? These are new games.
キューブって僕たちが子供の時とかのやつですよね。
はい、そうですね。
なんで今始めたんですか？
昔から持ってるやつをちょっと一人暮らしになったので、そっちにも持ってきて。
そのゲーム自体はどういうゲームですか？
まあシューティングゲームなんですけど、
対3で陣取りゲームをするゲームを楽しくやってます。スマホゲームでプレイヤー3人でこう連携が
5対5で
オーバ
ーウォッチどういうやつ？
FPS ゲームなんですけど、5対5で陣営を巡って戦うアイドルマスターって知ってます？
ちょっとどういうやつですか？ゲーム何やってますか？
レイドシャドウレジェンドやってます。
俺も結構やってて面白いね、あれ面白い。
あれで何回も達成感を感じながら武器とか装備、レベルアップもしながら、それ以外のカスタマイズとか、育成パターンが無限大に広がるところ。
確かにその楽しむ要素がいっぱいあるよね。好きな英雄とか言いますか？
ガレクですね。
ガレク、
筋骨隆々なところですごい強そうっていうので最初から使ってるんですけど、実際使ってみても強い。
Oh my god, this was an ad. Fucking asshole.
死にゲーとはどういう？
敵がすごい強くて、逆ですね、自分がその敵より弱くて、その弱い状態で敵に勝つみたいなゲームですね。強い敵に
選択して
でよくやります。
僕も小学校の
イニシャル D をやっています。
Oh, look at this, dude. And it, dude.
ゲームセンターでよくやります。
僕も小学校の時めっちゃやってたっす。めっちゃ ND やってたっす。めっちゃおもろいです。めっちゃおもろいです。
現実だとなかなか峠とかを爆走できないんですけど、峠を爆走するなんかストレス発散になります。
どの車使ってます？
どの車？私はマツダの車を使っています。
僕湾岸のが好きなんですよ。イニディより。湾岸よりイニディのが好きですか？
まあどちらかって言ったらイニディの方が好き。
なんで
なんかユーロビートがかっこいいからです。なんかユーロビート、でも湾岸もユーロビートかかって。
PUPG をやってましたね。APEX とかが。
Yeah, you get that. This guy's broken, dude. Look at it. I play PUBG, dude. This guy.
流行る前に結構流行ってたやつ、自由で戦ってみたいな感じですね。結構昔からあるやつなんで、思い出補正もあって懐かしいなってのもあるし、シンプルにこう敵と戦う。銃撃ち合ってみたいな。
モンスターストライクですね。
モンスターストライク。
はい、スマホのゲームみんなで通話とかしながらやったり、シンプルなゲームなんですけどやっぱり楽しいです。そうがもうや
ってます。インク塗るゲームで。
そうですね、誰でもいけますね。
スプラトゥーンやってます。インク塗るゲームでめっちゃ楽しい。女の子がやってる、結構やってます。
勝利の女神ニケというゲームやってます。機械の女の子たちが丸一つで現れたよくわからない機械の敵と戦うゲームです。本当に最近のソシャゲの中ではストーリーがしっかりしてて、またその運営とかプレイヤー側に立ってくれてて、いろんなアンケートとかも実施してくれるんですけど、そういう意見とかをしっかりと取り入れてくれると。
みんな上でやってる人多いですね。どのチームでどの選手使ってる？
マンチェスターシティで
ハーランド
は使わないようにしてます。強すぎて友達と対戦するときに怒られるので。使ってる選手で好きなのはブスケツ。本当のブスケツっぽく
出ます。キャラクターもかっこよかったり可愛かったり、いろんなキャラクターがたくさんいて、でそれぞれのストーリーもあって楽しいです。
どういうパーティー使ってます？
ライデン将軍と、あとデュルク。
パズドラをやってます。パズドラまあやってる人結構減ったと思うんですけど、よくみたいな。
コラボで前までちょっとやってなかったんですけど、
Oh my god, don't play like shit.
ちょっと呪いかもしれないですね。スマホゲームなんで。
荒野行動は友達とやったりしてるんですか？
友達というか、まあ、ネットで知り合った友達とかと、まあ、
僕ネットであんまりなんかどう
は実際
ですねするんですか？
レプリカントが特にちょっとまた
ゲームなんですか？
ゲームで言うとやっぱりオートマタが大好きで、オートマタ、そしてその前のレプリ
何が違うんですか？
サダミ
がやっぱり大学生の時に
数年前に
でクミニの得意分野で
ラーズ・オブ・ザ・キングダムです。最高っす。もうやり込みしかないですよ。もうゲームって大体ルートが決まってて、マリオとかだとキングダムって見るゲームが
こうちょっと島を探索するんですけど、つくんですけど、誰だかなって。
そうです。はい。
キャラクター誰使う？
ソニック。
ソニック。
Oh, dude, she's like Sonic. She's like my favorite video game is fucking Super Smash. And I like Sonic, dude. These people exist in real life. Could you imagine that's how you find your girlfriend? Like, hey, you wanna come home and fucking play Smash with me?
鍛えられたかなみたいな。
スマッシュブラザー。結構私の周りやってる子多かったです。はい。
キャラクター誰使う？
ソニック。
ソニック。
それなんでソニック？
なんか自分がやってて使いやすいので。
早いしね。
そうです。スプラトゥーンです。インク塗るの楽しいです。
どういう人におすすめする？スプラトゥーンは。
銃とか好き。
ガジ？
あー、懐かしい。
世代かなっていう感じ。
めっちゃハマって
みんなやつだし。
どんどんリスポーンして死んでも戦ってスプラットのなんか女
日本の男子みんなやってるスプクマンです。そのスネ
クエストの4が一番好きでした。
そう
じゃないやつに負けるってなんかいいじゃないですか。なるほどなるほど。
This woman is
ドラゴンクエス
She's like Dragon Quest 4 is my favorite, dude. This woman is too based.
トの4が一番好きでした。ショーが進むごとにその主人公が変わるんですけど、いろんな主人公のパターンで物語が進んでいくので、そこが一つの面白さだけじゃなくて、いろんな面白さがあっていいなって思います。
なるほどなるほど。
スマブラをやってて、今もやってるんですけど、一番お気に入りです。
落ちた話
PS までずっとやってフットボールゲーム。
僕はバイエルン。
僕シャビが一番好き。
アイスボーンですね。それもオンライン爽快感も合わないかも。
僕シリーズ結構好きなので、
やっぱり狩りするゲームやったり、
龍が独身
She's cute again. Yeah, you know what I like? My favorite game, like fucking like.
シリーズ結構好きなので。
女の子でもやってる人結構多いんですか？龍が如く。
最近増えたんじゃないかなという気がします。はい。
ロックマンエグゼです。なんかコレクターみたいにチップを集めるのも楽しいし、そのいろんなところでバトルしたり。
地方で言ったらもう
一番です。一番は桐生一馬の男らしさにもうキュンとな。
プラチナ世代で、プラチナから始めたんですけど、
モンストが一番好きですね。ですかね。
できるんで一個一個短くて、でもう終わったら次って。
About game, like I said, and the QR code on the screen to download it. Okay, anyway, thank you for.
Alright, that was a thing.
What is going on, guys? My name is John and welcome back to yet another video. A couple months back, I took on the challenge of completing the entire Pokédex in Pokemon Emerald, which captured the harsh reality.
I also have completed the full Pokédex of Pokemon Crystal, by the way. I did that because I had access to every single fucking game ever.
That a lot of older Pokemon games' Pokedexes were genuinely too difficult and to complete. The previous generation definitely wasn't a cakewalk either. The Game Boy Pokemon games were truly the infancy of the franchise, which means that there were a lot of mechanics and features that really hindered your game experience. After coming across an original copy of Pokemon Crystal at a convention for a reasonable amount of money, I decided to challenge myself again to get all 251 Pokemon as fast as possible. And this is how it went. Per usual, the game plan was obviously to complete the entire Pokedex, but to make things a lot more difficult, I decided that I wanted to create a living dex, which means that I just have to catch each individual Pokemon rather than just having the evolution entries. And while it's well known how structurally flawed the original games are, I'm going to be doing this entire challenge legit. No duplication, no crazy tricks, just pure, tedious gaming. Our adventure begins in New Bark Town, where we get to pick our first Pokemon, and per usual, I give this option to my Twitch chat. Now, out of the 3 options, there's one clear winner, especially when you want to get through the game as fast as possible. Unfortunately, they didn't care about any of that, and gave me by far the worst performing starter Pokemon in the entire franchise. Listen, is it cute? No, but maybe with a little level grinding, we can just ignore its downsides.
Chat, what can I name Chikorita? I should name it what it is. It is an Oddish, chat. It is an Oddish.
After going through the initial storyline with meeting your rival and Mr. Pokemon, we're finally set free to make our way to the first gym, but more importantly, to start working on our Pokedex. After grabbing a couple first route Pokemon, we've come across our first dilemma: time. The concept of time-based encounters of Pokemon is definitely not exclusive to this game. I mean, by this point, there's gotta be at least 100 that you can only find at night. However, unlike the current games, changing the clock wasn't exactly an intended feature. The developers really wanted players to experience this game in real time, as Gen 2 introduced time-based events. The bug-catching contests, daily lottery, rides on the SS Aqua only on certain days, and even time trainer rematches. While nowadays the in-game time is tied to the console's clock, these games are tied to the battery and require a set code. By using your name, ID number, and money from your trainer card, you can calculate the code to reset the clock. An interesting fact is that this feature is not even available in the Japanese versions of the Gen 2 games, which means to my knowledge, you just have to wait. But let's not act like the English versions can be casually accessed either.
Just as a quick reminder, it is down B select, let go of down and B, hold up and left, and then let go of select. As we know. With this, I was able to get some non-day encounters like Ladybah and Hoothoot, and with 11 Pokemon registered in my dex, I took down Faulkner's team and made my way to the second gym. In the Pokemon Center, I was given the secret egg, collected the old rod for later, and took care of the events around Azalea Town, which is home to a new mechanic. Deep inside Elex Forest, you can talk to a man who will teach one of your Pokemon Headbutt. By interacting with the short trees, you have a chance of encountering a bunch of exclusive Pokemon, however, some are a lot more rare than others. While Pokemon like Weedle, Caterpie, and Spearow can be encountered in most trees, there are special Pokemon like Heracross that can only be found in rare trees, which are randomly scattered across every area in the game. Despite having a 30% encounter rate, headbutting every tree multiple times would be an absolute chore, and thankfully there are websites that can calculate where they are with your trainer ID, so thankfully this really shouldn't be a problem at any point in the challenge. After getting the bike and Goldenrod, the egg hatched into Togepi, which is a really great segue into the next game plan. Right below the city is the daycare, which will definitely come into play later in the challenge, but by talking to the man inside, he will give us the odd egg. This specific egg will randomly hatch into one of the baby Pokemon with significantly boosted shiny odds. By saving before talking to him, you can get different results, and I decided that I would just keep trying until I got something cool. Oh, we did it! Shiny Magby. I have received this so many times. The odds of me getting a shiny Magby is 2% out of every single egg. 2%. And I think this is the 3rd or maybe 4th challenge I have got a shiny Magby from the egg. Because it took about 30 minutes just to get this one Pokemon, we had a lot of time to entertain ourselves, and what better way to pass the time than to do something that every person loves, making impulse purchases. How fast do you think I could get a Game Boy printer? I could buy the printer and the Game Boy camera in box for 160. Wait! Come on! That's fire! That looks so sick! If there's a US listing of it, I will 100% buy one. It's 150 bucks. Okay. It's on the way. I spent $200 on a Game Boy printer.
Now, a question you're probably wondering is, in comparison to the ridiculous price of Generation 3, how much would it cost for me to do this on my own? And thankfully, it's not as expensive Game Boy looks. And while I'm playing this on an Analog Pocket, you can find a Game Boy Color for as low as $40 if you want the authentic experience. For a lot of you, there's one thing you've been dying to point out. Yes, these games were released on the 3DS Virtual Console for $10. And while that is a good option, because the servers are gone, this is currently the only way you can purchase these games, which is absurd that over nearly 25 years, they've only been available twice. If the Pokemon Company is watching this, please do a physical release. Also, thanks for inviting me to Worlds, that's pretty cool. One final expense that has to be noted is, just like the GBA games, these games need batteries. The difference, however, is that unlike those games, the save files are tied to the battery, so if the battery dies, so does the save. On the upside, these are super cheap and most quality batteries can last well over 20 years. After this, I managed to spend more time in the area catching some necessary Pokemon, which is when I had this happen. If you manage to fill up an entire PC box full of Pokemon, Bill will call to let you know that, and while this may sound like a wow, you're so good at catching and probably really handsome and cool too, this is a warning. See, in the first 2 generations of games, the boxes weren't something you could just conveniently scroll through. Due to cartridge limitations, you basically had to load and reload each box, which meant that if you filled up a box and tried to catch a Pokemon, it would prevent you from throwing a ball until you moved to an open box. Including the fact that each box only stores 20 Pokemon as opposed to the current games, you can imagine that this won't be the last time we hear from him. While this may not happen frequently early on, as we continue to increase our collection, swapping Pokemon around will become more and more of a hassle. As we made our way to Ecruteak, I decided to take a detour through National Park, which is home to yet another side quest that needs to be completed. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, the bug catching contest will be open, where you can participate in a Safari Zone style game with the goal of catching the rarest Pokemon and earning the most points. While these Pokemon can't run, you're locked to a 15-minute timer as well as only having 20 balls. This specific area is important to the challenge for a few reasons. The first is that this is the only location in the game where you can catch Pinsir and Scyther, which saves a significant amount of time compared to hunting them down in the Safari Zone in Gen 1. The more important thing, however, is the prize. If you manage to get in first place, you're given a Sunstone, which once again is only available here. The issue is that if you don't know what you're doing, you'll almost never win. In a lot of contests, Cool Trainer Nick will appear on the left side of the fountain, and nearly every time he will win because he's coded to catch things like a level 15 Pinsir, which, fun fact, is not even available in the park. While this may not seem like it matters, the way scores are calculated is by totaling the stats and the IVs of the Pokemon you caught, with a max score of 386. Because this includes the HP stat, it's statistically impossible to win if you bring down the Pokemon's health, as it tracks the current HP rather than the total the Pokemon can have. Fortunately, I was able to catch a Scyther first ball and win the contest on my first try, but we'll have to take this on again later to get the rest of what we need. In the same area, I went on my way to fight bug catcher Arnie, who will give me his phone number after the battle. While in 99% of cases I would prefer to not be constantly called by every trainer in the game, certain trainers will activate special events, which hopefully will come into play later to make this challenge easier. After catching the static Sudowoodo, I went into the Burn Tower to continue the story. I always thought that this guy here was Solid Snake. It's Morty, but like, Eugene is here, so I decided to investigate the tower with him. In the basement, we can awaken the legendary beasts, which will allow them to roam throughout the region, but additionally begin the Eugene storyline to hunt down Suicune. With the good rod obtained in Olivine and the gift Shuckle in Cianwood City, I took down Jasmine to get the 6th badge, and evolved to get Meganium to finish the first day with a total of 36 Pokemon registered, which is nearly 15% of the way done in only the first day. Off-stream, I decided to do a little level grinding to make the next day easier, and I ended up encountering Entei, and obviously it ran away immediately, but this will actually make the challenge a lot easier when the time comes to hunt them all down. To start out day 2, I decided to make my team a little bit stronger by obtaining a Pokemon in most playthroughs that's never used, Golem. Because this is a trait evolution, I decided to use my copy of Silver, which is not only a requirement to complete my dex, but unfortunately another purchase that needs to be made. With another Game Boy and a basic link cable added to my list, I was able to obtain one of the 10 required trait evolutions to add to my dex. After making my way through the Lake of Rage to deal with exploding Pineco trees, I was able to add yet another shiny Pokemon to my collection. Let me hear it!
Oh, the red Gyarados? Yeah.
I will never not like that sound. With the Rocket Hideout cleared and having claimed the 7th badge, I returned the red scaled and Mr. Pokemon to receive the experience share, which almost feels required in order to make the evolution grinding not as tedious. After spending 2 hours clearing out the radio tower, I was able to complete my first friendship evolution, and was finally free to head towards the end of the main story, which obviously led to more encounters, and by this point I was pretty stocked up on items, so there really wasn't gonna... Oh yeah, that. While it is widely known that the roaming beasts can flee in battle, there are also an additional 21 Pokemon that can run away. While Tangela's rate is only 10% per turn, there are others that are 50% like Quagsire, which means that realistically you're going to have to encounter it multiple times before it's finally yours. And I know a lot of people will be quick to say, oh well, why don't you get fastballs from Kurt? They have an increased chance of catching these Pokemon. And while that is true, due to a coding error, instead of working on all 3 different flee rates, it only works on the first 3 Pokemon on the 10% list. So Magnemite, Grimer, and Tangela are the only ones affected. More importantly, unlike Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there's only 1 Apricorn tree for each ball in the region, which means that realistically you can only get 1 ball per day. Heading into Ice Path, I grabbed a couple more Pokemon like Jinx, which will unfortunately be on the team later, and I took on Claire's gym to collect the 8th badge. Well, this wasn't too necessary. I went to the Dragon's Den after all this to grab the Extreme Speed Dratini, which is only level 15, but thankfully we can catch much higher level ones, as this is arguably the hardest evolution in the entire game to complete. On the way to Elite Four, I stopped to see Professor Elm, where he gave us the Master Ball, which I figured now was the appropriate time to actually build a team that was able to beat the main story. Because by this point I had already encountered Entei, I decided that this was the best fit for the team, but how am I gonna find it? Well, you can do the old trick of just going back and forth between routes to check. There's actually a science to getting them a bit faster. By flying to Violet City and checking Entei's location, there's a very high chance that it will move to a certain route around the city if you bike in the correct direction. With a little trial and error, I managed to encounter it and catch it, but there's still 1 more of them that I want to get. Because we're playing Crystal, Suicune is actually not a roamer and will just appear in the Tin Tower for if you complete all the events with Eugene. After some trial and error, I was able to get this as well, and collected the second member of the gay roaming trio. En route to the Pokemon League, I made sure to grab one of the only Moonstones available in the game, before essentially using Suicune to mop through the entirety of the Elite Four. I honestly don't think at any point I had a problem, even with Lance's team, but finally I could say I was done. The game is complete. However, as you can see by our total, we have a lot more to do. After becoming the first person to beat Pokemon Crystal, I continued the challenge the next day with the goal of making a huge dent in the post-game. Initially, I figured that you could access Kanto from the Victory Road gates, but unfortunately you have to complete the SS Aqua event in Olivine first, so I started making my journey there.
Oh yeah,
that should be a crime. That should be a crime. Actually. Chat, I genuinely... How does this happen every video? Every single video! It's almost not even believable at this point. Don't troll me. Do not leave? No, it can't. I checked. The upside. I don't really know what the upside is. I have a 25% chance at full health. At full health? Of course, this is a 69% chance. I know one Sonic Boom doesn't KO, but I want to see what 2 Sonic Booms does. This Doduo has either 57 or 61 HP. I'm gonna use Sonic Boom. Pray that... Magnemite, I don't know if you know what's going on right now. Can't bring it down to 1. However, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid. That's true. That is true. I can confuse it. Anybody who's telling me to throw the ball because they're impatient, I'm going to eat your internet cable. And I'm going to charm so it goes down. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. I'm so glad I charmed it, because if I didn't charm it, we would have been in a bad situation. 1 ball and a dream. I'm the greatest gamer in the history of Earth! Holy advance! If you're going out anywhere in Pokemon Earth, the statistical chance of me encountering another one on the way back is 0. Care of the events in the SS Aqua, and I received the Metal Coat for yet another future evolution that I have to take care of. Upon reaching Vermilion City, the first goal I wanted to take care of was accessing every single fly point on the map. In certain challenges like these, having the whole region at your fingertips truly impacts how quickly you can get everything done, as there are many occasions where you'll just completely forget to go to a specific route and want to avoid biking for 10 minutes just to get there. During this process, I took care of all of the post-game side quests, which in comparison to the remakes are almost non-existent. Obviously, you have the gym leaders that I'm saving for later, but truly the only things you're required to do is fight the Rocket Grunt to collect the expansion card for your Pokegear and wake up the Snorlax at Diglett Cave. But aside from that, we're free to roam anywhere. I made sure to collect the final fishing rod, and in less than an hour, I'd reached every location, which meant that it was time to get back to the decks. We need to get 2 Pikachu, which is a 5% spawn. The grind begins. It will be a long grind. I don't know what's happening today, but this sounds like a complaint, but it's more of like I'm trying to like set the bar for what the content is today, and I have no control whatsoever. Eventually I made it back to Pewter City, where I spoke with the old man to receive the Silver Wing for an event that we can take care of when we get back to Johto. After making my way through a bunch of early routes, I realized I should try and focus on the friendship evolutions, so I decided to go to Route 15 to grab Chansey. The game, however, had different plans. All right, chat. Arnie, if it's not about Yanma, I'm not hearing any of it. Arnie! Huge news! Forget Chansey, we don't need it. An unfortunately notable aspect of the Gen 2 games is the fact that there's a notable list of Pokemon that are only encounterable with a rate of 1%. Because there are no abilities or good repel tricks in these games, we really can't influence our encounters and just kinda have to grind until we find it. That is, unless certain trainers call us. After Arnie calls us, Yanma will have an encounter rate of 30% in the area for the rest of the day, which obviously saves an absurd amount of time if we're gonna pull it off for the 6 rare Pokemon that we have to do this with. Despite getting rid of 1%, we're now tasked with getting another. While I did have to grab a couple Pokemon on Route 15, I spent over an hour on one route without seeing a single Chansey, so all that time saved with Yanma probably just balanced out. You know, I have been just in this one patch of grass. Chansey, let me finish my bit. Let me just finish my bit. I was gonna be funny. I was gonna be like, well, maybe I should check the other patch of grass, and then I checked the other patch of grass. Never mind. That only took almost an hour and a half. Okay, let's find Skiploom, guys.
I literally want to cry. So many tears that you won't even see my room because it's going to be filled with tears.
After about 2 hours, I managed to go to a majority of the routes and reach a total of 80 Pokemon in the dex, and I decided that I would just want to switch it up and revisit some locations in Johto. I started by going back to Goldenrod City to visit Bill at his house, who will give us the only EV available in the game. I decided to use my new Super Rod to collect some important encounters that I didn't have the opportunity with, including catching more Dratini, which unfortunately didn't go as planned. After spending 20 minutes trying to catch one Delibird, I finished the day with 89 Pokemon registered, but I figured now was the time to take on something a little bit different. Considering that I accessed basically every area in Crystal, I figured it was time to work on another game. And to no surprise, we're going to have to take on a different generation. A large upside of playing Crystal is that this game is shockingly accessible for completing the Pokedex. For how difficult it was to squeeze both regions into one game, they did really well at not leaving out any Pokemon, to the point where it felt that they left out Pokemon just so you had a reason to trade with other games. I decided for this challenge that I would play through Pokemon Yellow, and believe it or not, this is the final game in the entire challenge that we need to complete the Pokedex. Let's not get too excited, this is still ridiculous. Because this game isn't necessarily visually appealing in 2024,
Yeah, I remember playing this.
I wanted to get through this as quickly as possible, so I tasked myself with beating the entire game in one stream. All 8 badges in the Elite Four is definitely possible in a day for an average gamer, but I had a route that would realistically be the fastest way to win without doing any crazy speedrunning setups. The first hurdle was beating Brock, and I spent 10 minutes looking for the best counter, as well as a Pokemon that you just can't get in Crystal. They don't give you balls in this game? I didn't know that all that time. That's the main thing that Oak does, is he gives you balls. Eventually I was able to get one and made my way to the first gym, where Mankey definitely held its own. My starter, on the other hand, there is no Pokemon Center that can heal that cry. Eventually I made my way to Mount Moon to grab the Dome Fossil, which unfortunately means that in order to get both, you have to play through this game twice. Despite making my Pikachu faint and scream in agony, a woman in Cerulean saw my raw potential and decided to give me her Bulbasaur, followed by another trainer north of the Nugget Bridge who offered for me to take their Charmander. From here I decided it was time to separate the men from the boys and take on the ultimate gaming challenge. I'm going to test my game knowledge. Just off of the top of my head, do I remember how to do this one special trick? Part 1 done, first try. And so I get into this encounter, which is a youngster who has one singular Pokemon. It's a level 17 Slowpoke. This Slowpoke has a special stat of 43. Battle is done. I can now open my menu. And as I cross over the route, my menu opens. And by pressing B, it begins an encounter. And by having the same special stat as a Slowpoke, I encounter a Mew. That's kind of crazy that I remembered all of that. Now, although I mentioned that I wouldn't be doing any glitches in this video, this is genuinely the only way to get Mew in any of the Gen 1 games, as this was exclusively an in-person event when the game's released, and Japan exclusive for the 3DS versions, aside from one day in Europe for the launch of Sun and Moon. But now that that's out of the way, it's time to really break the game. Upon reaching Vermilion City, we have a couple of storyline tasks to do, but instead I'm going to head into Diglett's cave. By doing a repel trick with Pikachu, we can essentially guarantee an encounter with Dugtrio, who, as you can see, is absurd.
There was a cloning trick where you could clone Pokemon too. Man, that was a bunch of weird shit you could do.
High level. By adding this to the team, this one Pokemon counters nearly every major battle we have to deal with for a large chunk of the game. After bonding Lieutenant Surge's one Pokemon, the officer in town will give us Squirtle, which means that we've successfully obtained every Kanto starter, which saves a ridiculous amount of time compared to the other Gen 1 titles. After steamrolling every trainer in sight, I made it to my first hurdle in the challenge, Rock Tunnel. Oh, it's so dark! If you teach Thunderbolt to Rat, and you get a secret cutscene, and it brightens up that it brightened it for 3 frames. Now let's teach it Flash. Hey, you know what, chat? Let's just go through the cave in the dark. I know my way around. After only 4.5 hours of playtime, I managed to reach Fuchsia City and defeat Koga, which unlocks the ability to surf, which is where things get really interesting. I decided to make my way to the power plant, and obviously this is the point where I start to catch all the legendary birds, as their encounter locations were completely removed in Gen 2. Considering I have one extremely frail mole rat to take it on, I was going to need to be a bit more prepared. Because all it's going to do is agility, drill peck, and thunder, I think. It is a lot of trial and error, I'm not going to lie to you.
This is supposed to be hard. It was supposed to take a long time. That was 3 balls.
With this, after running through Silph Co, I was able to get another Master Ball, and it should be pretty obvious as to what we're saving this for. To help a little with the Elite Four, I was able to really quickly catch Articuno in the Seafoam Islands at full health, and took down the rest of the gyms before making my way to Victory Road. Inside, I was able to grab the final legendary bird, and as you can imagine, the Elite Four was laughable, arguably easier than Johto's. In a little under 6.5 hours, I managed to clear through the whole game and catch almost every Pokemon that I needed. However, there is one more that I wanted to get before I ended the stream. Now that Cerulean Cave is accessible, I was able to go inside and catch the strongest Pokemon in the game. It's Mewtwo time, who has one of the most absurd stances in the history of Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm just chilling in my cave, man. You want to fight or something? You showed up to the wrong place, buddy.
Genetic. You know what else is genetic? Every living thing on Earth. You're not that special, Mewtwo. The next day, I worked on collecting the very few remaining encounters that I needed in this game, starting with the fossils. I went back to Pewter City to collect the old Amber, and in Cinnabar, I was able to get Kabuto and Aerodactyl, and just because I could, I also obtained Hitmonchan from the Fighting Dojo to avoid dealing with evolving a bunch of Tyrogue. Finally, I bought a Vulpix from the Game Corner, which may seem like a strange choice considering that you can just catch it in Crystal, but since Gen 2 is known for being extremely difficult to get the evolution stones, I figured that getting a Ninetales in this game would make things a lot easier in the long run. With over 100 Pokemon registered in my living dex, it was time to go back to Gen 2. However, we're starting from scratch. As you can imagine, that copy of Silver wasn't just for trading, as we're going to need to actually play it. Thankfully though, we won't need to play to the same extent that we did for Crystal, nor do we have to catch nearly as many Pokemon. In total, there are a whopping 6 that need to be obtained, starting with the remaining starters. To be honest, I tried to save time by replicating my first video ever on the channel by getting 2 starters on 1 save file, only realized I have the coordination of an old man now and had to actually play through the entire beginning of the story again. Thankfully, you can trade super early on, and I can finally play through the game with the best starter in the game. Baby. Because I knew how to counter each gym, I was able to beat the first 3 gyms in only an hour, which opened up enough of the map to get a few encounters. When it comes to Crystal, there are only 5 Johto Pokemon that are completely unobtainable: the Mareep line, Girafarig, and Remoraid. While the first 2 are almost completely unavoidable in a normal playthrough, Remoraid is a different story. Just like Yanma, this Pokemon is technically exclusive to the mass outbreaks, and that's mostly because this Pokemon can only be normally obtained with the Super Rod. Because this item requires you to beat the Elite Four and reach the east side of Kanto, we're unable to get it at this point, except when there's an outbreak. This will allow us to use any rod to catch it, but as you'd expect, we're going to need to wait quite a while to... I promise you this challenge is hard. With this COD, I was all done with Silver, but there was still something I wanted to do. Earlier in this playthrough, we ended up coming across a storyline-based Pokemon. Red Gyarados. Everybody knows, everybody's favorite shiny Pokemon. But what if I told you that we could turn this into something better? By sending this Pokemon to Yellow, we can go into battle and encounter a Ditto. Okay, so here's the game plan. We're gonna mimic and copy transform, and then Ditto is going to transform into us. And then what we're going to do is take Ditto's transform. Ditto is gonna transform into us again, and then we're gonna transform into Ditto. And now we are ourselves, but them followed by ourselves. What? And by copying the stats of the Gyarados, it's shiny. Now, once again, I know that I said I wouldn't do any glitches in this challenge, but this one just makes a future section a little bit more entertaining, and personally, I think it paid off. Off stream, I traded all the Pokemon I caught in Yellow and Silver all the way to Crystal, which meant that I was fully prepared to get back to the game we all wanted to see. Yellow again. Like I mentioned, we had to do this just to get Ammonite, so there really isn't anything special here. I genuinely did the same exact Dugtrio route I did last time. Despite that, conveniently was Cyndaquil Community Day in Pokemon Go, so I decided to occasionally check for shinies as I was going through the game. I haven't seen a single shiny Cyndaquil. Do I even have any? Oh, wait! The only one I got was an XXL. Yeah, let's talk about that. During the entire 3-hour event, this was the only shiny that I found. It's pretty crazy as the information stout. Got it from your research is an auto spawn. The odds of finding a Pokemon with perfect stats or a hundo is 1 in 4,000. After this 4 hours, I managed to revive the fossil and immediately traded to Crystal to complete everything that I needed to do in the side games. I realized I honestly skipped over a ton of locations between both regions, so I figured that this was by far the most important thing that I needed to do. I began by catching a Zubat to throw in my party to tackle another friendship Evo, and I challenged the first 4 gym leaders to help it gain some XP. From here, I followed my list of encounters, which kind of just resulted in me jumping from region to region, which eventually led me to the entrance of Mount Motor. Out of every cave in the franchise, I'm pretty confident this one is the least visited, at least for me considering that there's nearly nothing here, but for for this challenge, there's one gift that is absurdly easy to miss. If you can make your way through the surfing maze, you'll eventually reach the Karate King, who will challenge you to a battle. If you defeat him, he'll give you a Tyrogue, which aside from the extremely rare chance for you to get an egg, it's the only one in the game. It's important too that you have an empty party slot, or else you'll have to claw your way through this entire area twice. After visiting a few more routes, I had successfully reached the halfway point in the challenge, and I felt that I was deserving of a much needed break. So I decided to take on the second half of the bug catching contest. Once again, this time around, I had to come in first place with Pinsir. Based on the stat totals, it's a little bit worse than Scyther, but I encountered a level 14-1 on the first encounter, so it should be easy, right? We're ready to ride. The chances of me losing this would be like 5%. William, who cut a Butterfree. If that's third place, chat. How did I lose? Note the points. Oh, it literally came down to IVs. I cannot believe I was stupid. Get a Pinsir in the 370 points. I just want to know what I lost to. There! Chat! Do you know how high of a score that is? For winning. No. Stop. How did you get a Venonat? Surely I beat you. I'm free! I was getting close to finishing the hardest part of the challenge. I spent the morning taking on the rest of the fishing encounters, most importantly finding a Quillfish to avoid waiting for a phone call, caught a few more low percentage Pokemon, and went to the Ruins of Alph to complete a few things. I finally solved the first puzzle to unlock the unknown encounters, but there are actually a few more Pokemon that are exclusive to this area that can't be obtained anywhere else. By going back into Union Cave, we can head downstairs to access a secret back area of the map that contains Natu, Smeargle, oh cool, another shiny, and even a special encounter in the depths of the cave. On Fridays at the lowest level, you can encounter a static Lapras. Obviously, I could have just picked the free one that's in Pokemon Yellow, but this event is pretty often forgotten about, and it's the only time-based encounter in the game. After catching a few Pokemon and grabbing the King's Rock in Union Cave, I managed to finish getting basically everything that I could access, but there were a couple that I haven't addressed. Up until this point, I had never encountered Raikou. I visited every location in Johto it can appear at more times than I can count, and I can count pretty high. But I knew the only way to get this was to simply bike. Yeah, I wish there was a cooler way to approach this, but I was just told to bike west of Ecruteak until eventually it would appear. Until this took like 30 minutes, and although I have an arsenal of over 150 Pokemon, I really don't have anything to catch this, but I knew just what to use. I just needed money. So I made my way back to Kanto and buy the last 4 remaining gyms, evolve Golbat into Crobat along the way, and re-challenge the Elite Four to make around 100 grand, which we're going to spend on her. Listen, I'm not a fan either, but Jynx has 2 cool tricks, speed and sleep. By dumping a bunch of vitamins into speed and leveling it up to 40, it will outspeed almost every single legendary beast, regardless of what IVs it has. So I spent an hour leveling it up, and I guess the game realized that my luck was pretty trash for this Pokemon, and I encountered it on the first try with the Violet City trick. I went to battle with only 8 Ultra Balls, but I had this whole thing planned out. We plan ahead. This is what I really wanted. The Ultra Balls were a trick. Now it's time for some brand new Pokemon. Because I had taken down all 16 gym leaders, I had unlocked access to Silver Cave, which does contain a few more exclusive Pokemon. In general, this was extremely easy, and that's mostly because I realized that I maybe should have had Jynx put all the Pokemon I wanted to sleep to speed up this challenge, but hey, you live and you learn. Now, if you've been paying attention, there's another Pokemon I've been wanting to get, and that's mostly because it's the final Swarm Pokemon, and arguably the final tedious Pokemon that I needed to get. So I made my way back to Johto to talk to a special person. I'm the president.
Thank you for your service, sir. It's an honor.
Okay, 2 people. So, if we look at the phone, we have a collection of phone numbers. Thankfully, my mom and Professor Elm will never call me unless it's important. Eventually, at some point, he's going to announce and let me know that there is a Dunsparce swarm happening. He has called time and time again and said, hey, you want to know about my Caterpie that lost to a Geodude and I ate some of its berries or something? I don't know. He just kind of like rambles. So we talked to our mom. She'll ask about money, and then she'll ask if it's daylight savings time. And when you do that, there's a 50% chance that every time that you do that, it will force a call. Chat, there is no way you're about to tell me on the first. This is supposed to be a hard challenge. So with that taken care of, there are really only 2 more Pokemon to get. By heading to the Whirl Islands with the Silver Wing, I was able to enter the Waterfall Cavern to catch Lugia, and since I had finally obtained the final beast, I could receive the Rainbow Wing to climb Tin Tower to encounter Ho-Oh. With that, I caught every single Pokemon I needed to complete my Pokedex,
So what's left? Now, if you've been on this journey with me before, you know two things. One, I still have to breed and evolve every single Pokemon, and two, I have really bad posture. Despite still having 175 Pokemon left in the dex, I knew that I was basically at the finish line. The next day, I had one goal in mind: eggs. I wanted to hatch duplicates of every Pokemon that I needed for my living dex, and based on my prior experience with this, I knew that it was going to take forever. So I planned ahead to make it fun. Remember that shiny Ditto from earlier? By leaving in the daycare and any of the Pokemon that I needed to breed, there'd be a 1 in 64 chance that the egg will be shiny, and considering that I need to hatch things like 5 Eevee, there's a pretty solid chance that something cool could happen. I will note, this took exactly as long as you think it did. A majority of the stream was just me yapping for hours on end, which to be fair is nearly all of them, but on average I was hatching an egg every 15 minutes. Through this process I was able to hatch and get all the starters, Eevee, the fossils, the baby Pokemon, Porygon, and even one special find. Oh, wait! Yeah! Let's go! 6.5 hours. To prepare for the next stream, I organized every single box to have the Pokemon sorted in numerical order, which I would like to note, did anyone know there was an option to move Pokemon around without having to swap between boxes? Like, you can just scroll through boxes. 25 years has been out, and I learned this today. Somehow, with all the hatching, I managed to only get 10 new additions to the dex, but this is where the challenge really takes a turn. So let's get the bad news out of the way. There is no good place to grind in this game. Somehow, even in the remakes, due to the strange level scaling of Kanto to keep the immersion of Gen 1's environment intact, the highest wild encounters you can get are around level 40 outside of Silver Cave. Like, you know it's bad when Ponyta is arguably the best Pokemon to fight for the experience. For its shortcomings, the one redeeming quality of this area is that it has possibly the closest Pokemon Center to a patch of grass
Yeah, I would just do electric, whatever, what they call it,
in the entire franchise, so you don't have to go far to get the best results. When it came to evolving the first few Pokemon, things like the starters took all of 2 minutes to get their first evolution, but to no surprise, getting that final evolution was the real tedious work. After finishing a couple evolutions, I decided just to throw on the experience share and have Mewtwo mop up the Elite Four, and I think for the first time in the history of my Live Index challenges, the Pokemon League is by far the best method to grind, as they will nearly reach all their final stages by the time I'd finished beating Lance. So I went through the routine of training low-level evolutions near the cave, and high-level evolutions at the League. As I made it further down the Kanto Dex, I started to deal with some really high levels like the fossils at level 40, and finally Dragonite standing at a whopping level 55. After 6 hours of grinding, I genuinely felt like this was a watch John fight Lance on repeat stream, so I decided to end and just grind out the majority of them offline, which I think was a good play considering it took nearly 3 hours to get Dratini from level 40 to 55. Over the span of another 6 hours, I worked my way through evolving the Johto Pokemon, which generally speaking were a lot easier than Kanto, where even getting Umbreon and Espeon only took 1.5 trips through the Elite Four to evolve. Halfway through, I managed to max out all of my money, which if you play this game, you know how ridiculous this is. With the final Friendship evolution done, I began working on the final and most tedious evolution of them all, Larvitar. While Dragonite and Tyranitar evolve at the same level, the highest level Larvitar you can catch is level 20, which means that in total I need to earn nearly 200,000 experience to get there, which is 70,000 more than what I had to do with Dratini. I decided to spend about 4 hours off stream to get close, so I could get the final evolution on stream. On day 10, I spent the beginning 2 hours of stream continuing the grind, and eventually, I managed to get it done. There it is! The final evolution of this challenge.
God, I
but
played this game
let
so
it be
long.
known,
I can't believe I did this.
still have a lot to do. Now you're probably saying, what could possibly be left? And it really all comes down to taking care of the evolution items. For the most part I was prepared, but there were a few more specific things that I needed to collect. In the lower right area of the Ruins of Alph, I collected the second Moonstone, but because I still needed 2 more, I had a cool way to get another. By changing the day of the game to a Monday night, inside Mount Moon you can access a secret cutscene where a bunch of Clefairy will hop around and leave a Moonstone for you under a boulder. Thankfully you can just keep setting the date to Monday and farm as many of these as you like.
I need Rock Smash. I didn't get Rock Smash.
Heading back into Kanto, we can speak with Bill's grandfather in his cottage, and by showing him a specific list of Pokemon, we can get one of each of the original evolution stones, which is basically the only guaranteed way to get one, other than having specific trainers called to give you one. As for other items, in Silphco, I was able to receive the upgrade for Porygon, the Dragon Scale for Seadra, unfortunately deep in Mount Mortar. I traded a Dugtrio with a man at the power plant to get a Magneton holding the only other metal coat, which only left me with 1 more item. South of the Victory Road Gate, you can receive a phone call from a trainer named Gavin, and by doing the DST exploit with our mom, he'll call to rematch us. After rematching him 3 times, he'll call for 1 final battle. However, this time, there's something different about one of his Pokemon. And Kingler comes out. However, this Kingler is a little bit special, and so what you do is use the move Thief. In this specific battle, Kingler, for some reason, is holding a King's Rock. How they expected anyone to discover this outside of a strategy guide back in the day is completely beyond me. With everything set up, it it was time to trade. I sent all the Pokemon with evolution stones that I didn't have to Yellow, and after making a few purchases at the Celadon department store, I was able to evolve another 6 Pokemon before trading them back. From here, I gave all the Gen 2 trade evolutions their items and sent them over to Silver to evolve, which honestly have some of the coolest sprites out of the entirety of the Gen 2 games. Come on, be baby. Oh, it's not very baby. Perish Song? He just wants to die the moment he shows up. With only a few stones left, I evolved all the Moonstone Pokemon, Evolutions, and finally reached the final 2 Pokemon. Genuinely, chat, I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know how we got to this point. It looks so bad. And with that, chat, I successfully caught every single Pokemon in Pokemon Crystal. So if you look here, you can see not only have I caught every single Pokemon, you can't really see it, we'll go to the PC, but I've done a full living dex of every single Pokemon in the entire game. I have seen 250 Pokemon, but also I own 250 Pokemon. So what in the world am I missing? Do you know what I'm missing? Leave it in the comments right now. Don't be shy. No wrong guesses. Unless you said Volcanion, then that's pretty wrong. That's actually not even... After beating the Elite Four, if you try to leave the Pokemon Center in Goldenrod City, a nurse will stop you from leaving and give you the GS Ball, and tells you should take it to Kurt in Azalea Town. What's that? I've never seen one before. It looks a lot like a Pokeball, but it appears to be something else. Let me check it for you. So here's the thing, chat. He has to check it for a whole day. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. See you guys later. Oh, you just stay here. I'm gonna go to bed and of course we're gonna cheat. Helix Forest Shrine. It's in the honor of the Forest Protector. Oh, what's this? It's a hole. It looks like the GS Ball will fit inside of it. Want to put the GS Ball in there? Yup. And there it is, the final Pokemon. After catching them all, beating the game, we get a Celebi. After a little under 100 hours across every game, I can confidently say this challenge took quite a lot longer than I expected, but this truly made me appreciate the current games and how far they've come to making the overall experience of the games better and more accessible. And while I can confidently say that I'm done with the challenge, I think there's still one more thing I can do. Unlike every other Pokemon game, basically, aside from Gens 1 and 2, there is a small feature that we can take advantage of. So we talked to Professor Elm. He'll call us, and I realize we don't talk to him for this. Okay, hold on. How's your Pokedex coming? Let's see. Current Pokedex completion level, 251 Pokemon seen, 251 Pokemon owned. If you're in the area, I hope you come visit again. And... you can't just say I'm cool, you have to give me something. I worked hard. I'm the game designer. Filling up your Pokedex is tough, but don't give up. Wow, excellent. You completed your Pokedex. Congratulations. And as you know,
get a little,
we get a diploma, which, you know, is that cool? Sure, that's pretty neat, right? We all love that. But see right here, chat, I have a Game Boy out. It will be that small. Unfortunately, I've had to say this to a lot of people in my life.
Yeah. I was sick. What the fuck is this shit?
Hey, I'm gonna go to the gym to work out a little bit. You wanna come with me?
I just ordered an extra long straw to avoid accidentally doing a sit-up. Hey, look at this.
And it was
lot of fucking vending. And that looks so dirty, dude. It's nasty. Looks alright. Where's the, you get something to drink? That's pretty nice. That's some shit from the fucking 90s. Burger, huh? This is so 90s, That looks absolutely disgusting. Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks nasty. He likes it? No way, dude. gotta twist it, dude. You gotta twist it. Is he gonna eat every fucking thing ever here? What the fuck? Bro, I'm not gonna fucking watch 20 minutes of him eating.
This?
In every game, I don't know. Fucking nothing, dude. All trophies.
Speedrunning. The premise is simple. Beat a game or part of it. Proved Break the Targets was ripe for speedrunning, as each target test was short and instantly replayable, allowing for continued practice and optimizing. Since then, Break the Target speedruns have been documented extensively. Classic. A runner named NCB1221 would request a new category to be added, a category that he had, in fact, just successfully ran. I decided to ask NCB.
So. Okay, I don't care, dude. I just want to know. Can we just start the show?
Like a no damage clear or something?
Yeah.
How can I make a mistake?
Okay, this is way too artistic, dude. Holy shit, fuck that shit. Underground shelter. Okay. Yeah, fuck you, dude.
Kanto, the first Pokemon region, was introduced in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, Gen 1.
The best
It is the foundation of the Pokemon world, home to the original 151 Pokemon, classic locations, and the timeless journey of becoming a Pokemon champion. Kanto's design is straightforward, yet iconic, featuring forest, caves, mountains, and coastal cities. Pallet Town, the hometown of every Kanto trainer, sets players on a simple at the Indigo Plateau. Landmarks like Cerulean Cave, home to the legendary Mewtwo, and the eerie Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town add to its rocket. The hidden complex franchise's legendary status make it a region that can Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Gen 2, is a region deeply rooted in tradition, ancient legends, and harmony with...
Okay, dude. Autistic. God, she's another one who can't eat normal. You just
Here's
see
everything.
You can just see. You can just tell this is an annoying person. Dude, nobody
age
eats
traveling
like this.
from London
Nobody eats
to
like
Scotland
this.
for the first time. I woke up at
It's like the tiniest bit. What are you doing, you bitch? What a
8 a.m.
faggot.
today, and our train doesn't leave before 11, so I decided to make myself some porridge for breakfast and some coffee with my new coffee machine. I love this thing so much. Then me and Theo got the bus over to Euston Station and boarded our Avanti West Coast train, which is taking us all the way from London to Glasgow, Scotland. The journey takes about 4.5 hours, and 30 minutes in, we got our first meal. Theo ordered this cauliflower rice salad, and I ordered this chicken fricassee, which was so good and just the perfect lunch for this otherwise cold and rainy day. Next, I had some black tea and shortbread to go with it, and then we spent some hours working on our computers before I got asked whether I wanted another meal, and of course I said yes. So here's the charcuterie glazing plate, and I also got this little marble chocolate, which is really good. The journey honestly went by super quick, and when we arrived in Glasgow, we did a little bit of exploring before we headed over to Mikaku for dinner. This place is decorated to resemble a Tokyo street, and it was so cool. Obviously, we had to get some ramune. I also ordered half a bowl of tonkotsu ramen and tons of sides to share. There's the chicken karagi, furikake fries, gyoza dumplings, and of course,
You can't even put a whole fry in your fucking mouth? Fuck you, dumb bitch. Get out of here. Oh god, I hate women. I absolutely hate women with a passion. Oh man, it's too warm, dude. I need to cool down. What time is it now? Oh, it's already late. I'm gonna go to bed.